Now I continue dealing with the matter of the Palestinian covenant. The Palestinian covenant found in Deuteronomy chapter 28, 29, and 30. The millennial kingdom must reign, the Lord Jesus Christ must reign in the millennial kingdom in order to ratify and fulfill the area of the Palestinian covenant. In Ezekiel 39:28, Ezekiel prophesying to the Jews coming out of Babylonian captivity. And he states, "Then shall they know that I am the Lord their God, which caused them to be led into captivity among the heathen. But I have gathered them unto their own land, and have left none of them any more there." Now there's an immediate fulfillment, that is the Jews coming out of Babylon, but there is an ultimate fulfillment of this when the house of Israel will once again be in their own land. Now I pointed out an area of importance here. The Palestinian covenant of Deuteronomy 28, 29, and 30 is probably one of the most serious covenants I have ever read in the Bible. It is, you talk about strict. Every now and then I run into Calvinists and those that embrace covenant theology, and they long to live under the law. Well now, brother, I'm glad I'm saved by grace and under grace, because I certainly would not want to live under this. In Deuteronomy 28:58, "If thou wilt not observe to do all the words of this law that are written in this book, that thou mayest fear the glorious and fearful name, the Lord thy God, then the Lord will make thy plagues wonderful." That doesn't mean that it'll be a blessing to be under the plague. The plagues will be so serious and so grievous that it'll cause the people of Israel to wonder at the severity of the plagues. "And the plagues of thy seed, even great plagues, and of long continuance, and sore sicknesses, and of long continuance. Moreover, he will bring upon thee all the diseases of Egypt, which thou wast afraid of." Now remember earlier, God had said, "I will not put upon you the plagues of the Egyptians." Here he says, if you don't do the words of this covenant, or you fail to observe and obey the words of this covenant, then I will put on you all the plagues of Egypt, the diseases of Egypt, which thou wast afraid of, and they shall cleave unto thee. Also every sickness and every plague, which is not written in the book of this law. Plagues in addition to what I've enumerated here, there'll be other plagues put upon you, such as the Holocaust during World War II, when 6 million Jews in Europe were hunted down and put to death. "Then will the Lord bring upon thee until thou be destroyed, and ye shall be left few in number, whereas ye were as many as the stars of heaven for multitude, because thou wouldest not obey the voice of the Lord thy God." Now, because of the Jews' violation of the Palestinian covenant, they did not possess all the land God had given them in the Abrahamic covenant, that real estate deal, the land grant, giving them all the land from the Nile River to the river Euphrates. They don't possess that now. But they were, the 10 northern tribes, because of violation of the Palestinian covenant, were carried away into Assyrian captivity. The 2 southern tribes later, that's what the text I read in Ezekiel, were carried away into Babylonian captivity. And then because of their ultimate rejection of the Palestinian covenant and their rejection of the Son of God, the Lord Jesus Christ, the temple was destroyed in AD 70, and the Jews were scattered to wander the world, to roam the earth without a homeland, from AD 70 until May the 14th of 1948, when again the Union Jack was taken down and the Star of David was raised up, and the Jews had a homeland for the first time in 2,000 years. They have been in a constant state of war and struggle, defending that homeland, holding on to that homeland ever since. Today, the Jews don't possess all of the property that God had promised them in the Palestinian covenant. In fact, they've given some of it away, giving the West Bank away to Jordan, giving up their land in an effort, trading land for peace. And in the final analysis, they have neither land nor peace when they make agreements like that. That land belongs to God and has been given to Israel in the Abrahamic covenant in a land grant. But the Jews today, they never have possessed. Today, 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, they've never possessed all the land that God gave unto them. Notice with me, and ye shall be left few in number, whereas ye were as the stars of heaven for multitude, because thou wouldest not obey the voice of the Lord thy God. The Jews today are about 1% of the population of earth, whereas the Muslims, people embracing the Islamic religion, are about 1/5 or 1/6 the world's population. There are more than 1 billion Muslims on planet Earth, while there is less than 1% of the human family are Jews. And it shall come to pass that as the Lord rejoiced over you to do you good and to multiply you, so the Lord will rejoice over you to destroy you and to bring you to naught. And ye shall be plucked from off the land whither thou goest to possess it. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from the one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. And among these nations shalt thou find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest, but the Lord shall give thee there trembling heart, and failing of eyes, and sorrow of mind. And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shalt have none assurance of thy life. In the morning thou shalt say, would God it were even. And at even thou shalt say, would God it were morning. For the fear of thine heart wherewith thou shalt fear, and for the sight of thine eyes which thou shalt see. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt, again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. And that statement, buy you, is in reference to them becoming slaves, being sold into captivity. When we read the book of Judges, we find that constantly the Jews were sold into bondage because of their unwillingness to follow the Lord, to obey the Lord, to honor the Lord, to observe all that the Lord had done. They were sold constantly into the hand of the Canaanitish people. They refused to drive out all the Canaanites. We had major captivities and ultimate dispersal in AD 70, the children of Israel. In all of this, God did not rescind the Abrahamic covenant. God has not rescinded the Abrahamic covenant to this day. The judgment that fell upon the people of Israel was because of their violation of the Palestinian covenant. Their violation with the land, of the land, and in the land. Now this matter of the land of Israel is a very serious thing. All the nations of the earth would love to have the city of Jerusalem. Islam claims it as their capital. Israel obviously claims it as theirs in the Bible. There are other nations that would love to have the city of Jerusalem, the religious capital of the earth, and as far as I'm concerned, the center of the earth. The Bible constantly talks about whether you're going south, north, east, or west, going up to Jerusalem. You never go down to Jerusalem. You always go up to Jerusalem. And yet, because of that tremendous responsibility laid upon the people of Israel in relation to and in regard to that city of Jerusalem, there is a tremendous responsibility placed upon them. A privilege, certainly, but a tremendous responsibility. In chapter 29, verse number 1, these are the words of the covenant which the Lord commanded Moses to make with the children of Israel in the land of Moab, beside the covenant which he made with them in Horeb. And there's a long list of do's and don'ts. And when the children of Israel would refuse to obey, they would have brimstone and salt and burning. And then in chapter number 30, the Palestinian covenant again established, the covenant with the land. And a final warning given by Moses: for this commandment, which I command thee this day, it is not hidden from thee, neither is it far off. It is not in heaven, that thou shouldest say, who shall go up for us to heaven, and bring it unto us, that ye may hear it and do it. One day, the children of Israel are going to be right with God, and they're going to be right with the land. They're going to be right with the covenant. And you and I that are justified by the grace of God should rejoice that we are not under law, but that we certainly are under the operation of divine grace. God bless you. Tomorrow my grandfather will be here by way of recording, and I'll be back with you on coming Monday.
Write the Bright Spot Hour at Post Office Box 4, Greenville, South Carolina 29602. Visit the website at